Hi, my name is Jim Stabile, and I'm the creator of ERGO 180. Today I would like to explain in this short tutorial how to use this app for a normal flight. ERGO 180 is an iPad app which can display aircraft assets such as fuel, oxygen, and glide distances using a geospatial platform to quickly and accurately interpret how much distance is left in miles before the resource is depleted. In addition, the app will display airports and maritime ships along your route of flight. The app has two modes of display. One is using app technology to provide ground speed, altitude, and aircraft position automatically. The other is a manual input mode where the app will display the same results but with manual entries. Let's start on the login page where the user will need a user ID and a password. Once those are entered, the app will open to a map of the world waiting for data to be entered. Touching the menu button at the bottom of the screen will open two additional icons on either side, and the menu button will change to an exit button. Opening the manual input button first will open a pop-up data menu. The first entry box will display the registration number you entered during registration. In this example, N test. The next two buttons will offer a selection of the type of fuel used or whether it's consumed in gallons or in pounds. Next is wind speed and direction. For now, we'll leave them blank since we'll be describing the automatic function of ERGO 180 first. Following that is the airports you wish to use as either origin destination or diversion airports where fuel and oxygen may be critical. So let's enter a few airports. Here we can type up in the search bar here. We'll put in Teterboro, K-T-E-B, select it. Our next airport we'll put in will be Nassau in the Bahamas, so that'll be Mike, Yankee, November, November. And we'll select that. Glide ratio is next, and that's defined by the aircraft manufacturer and should be found in the aircraft flight manual. Be sure this ratio is correct so that the distance ring will define the correct distance you can glide in a zero wind condition in the event of a total power failure. For this example, we're going to use a 20-to-1 glide slope. The very last line is called coverage. You'll see it down in the white print. This will detail what sections of ship coverage is available. In this example, you'll see waters, Western Atlantic, Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean can be displayed. What you're seeing here right now is an automatic prompt telling you that the remainder of the program is not yet completed, and it's urging us to complete the fuel flow. We'll just say OK, and we'll go back to our manual input screen, and we'll continue on. So, as I mentioned earlier, coverage at the bottom here is waters, Gulf of Mexico, and Caribbean. And those are the three areas of ship coverage that this particular customer has bought. Click Confirm to advance to the next data window. Please set up fuel on board is displayed next. Click OK and the message box will disappear. On the top menu, touch Fuel on Board, and the data box that needs to be completed will appear. Enter Fuel on Board and click Submit. So for this example, we're going to use 20,000 pounds, and we're going to click Submit. Next, a message will appear prompting you to enter an expected fuel flow. Enter and submit as you did for the fuel on board. So we'll click OK. We'll open the Enter Fuel Flow box by touching on the fuel flow on the top menu, and we'll enter 4,800 pounds and click Submit. With this data entered, both airports are displayed as well as the current GPS position. Current iPad elevation predicted by the iPad is also displayed. Remember, no distance rings will be displayed since a ground speed or true airspeed is necessary for this calculation. Also, no glide ring is displayed since the aircraft is at a very low altitude. ERGO 180 is now set up for flight in the automatic display mode. Once the aircraft is cleared for takeoff, the iPad GPS begins to display ground speed. When the aircraft climbs higher than 500 feet above the current iPad altitude, it will start to count down the fuel on board based on the predicted fuel burn. The yellow glide ring will appear as altitude increases. The orange fuel ring and the purple oxygen ring will also be displayed once ground speed or true airspeed is sensed. Any data on the top menu bar can be changed manually by tapping on the desired entry. Anytime there is any manual input, a yellow triangle with an exclamation mark will appear at the top right menu, reminding the user that they are using at least one manual input. Position, altitude, and ground speed are automatic iPad entries. Fuel on board and fuel flow are strictly manual entries, so changing these last two will not trigger the manual icon warning. The manual mode can also be useful prior to flight to display predicted fuel, predicted oxygen, or glide range by manually entering data in the top menu. Once a ground speed or true airspeed is entered, a fuel distance ring will appear based on fuel on board, fuel flow, and aircraft velocity. This is useful for pre-planning since it can quickly alert the pilot if their fuel is critical. So let's go ahead and we're going to select a true airspeed in the manual mode, 250 knots. And your fuel ring appears. Displaying a tabulated distance can be selected in the Map Option tab by selecting Distance Info. The user can force the fuel on board to begin to count down by entering current elevation, in this case 456 feet, plus 500 feet. So in this example, we'll enter 999 feet, push confirm, and as you can see, the fuel will begin counting down. Plus, you'll see the glide ring become visible. The pilot can become accustomed to what they should see in flight, as well as using manual entries. The pilot can always return to the automatic mode by tapping on the warning icon and selecting Use GPS. We will leave this in the manual mode so we can continue to display more manual entries. Last is map options. This allows the user to select a variety of overlays and to reduce the amount of clutter they wish to see during a flight. Remember, the more data displayed, the slower the app will function. Here, you may select fuel range, glide range, or oxygen range if installed, all calculated in miles. Airport tabulated distance range information, along with ship information, can also be displayed here. A slide bar, which will increase or decrease the amount of ships, is also available for use. Supplemental data lists the ship's display sectors you have purchased and are available. In this case, you've selected waters, Western Atlantic, Gulf of Mexico, and Caribbean. You may only select one sector at a time. The menu box below is an explanation for colors used in this app. Wind direction and velocity is next. If ERGO 180 is receiving a GPS ground speed signal, no yellow triangle should be observed in the upper right-hand corner of the app, which is shown now. However, there will be times when the ground speed from the iPad GPS will be lost and 0 or a very small number will appear in the ground speed window. No fuel range ring will be displayed. Now, the pilot can manually enter a true airspeed by opening the ground speed window, which we'll do now, deselecting the use of GPS, and inserting a manually updated true airspeed not corrected for wind. So we'll put in 250 knots and enter. Selecting confirm will update the speed and change the speed from ground speed. If you look in the upper right hand corner now, under where ground speed used to be, you'll see true airspeed, TAS. Anytime the user sees a TAS, a true airspeed, they should be aware there is no compensation adjusted for wind. Now, if a wind entry is desired, the user will select the manual input. So we'll open menu, manual input, and insert a wind direction and a velocity. So we'll put a wind direction in of 330 degrees and a wind speed of 100 knots, and we'll click confirm. Okay. Any digit entered in the wind speed window will change the true airspeed label now to ground speed label, alerting the user that a wind additive has been entered. The user will also know it's an manual input, since the manual yellow icon triangle in the upper right-hand window of the iPad will be displayed, as you see here. This concludes the ERGO 180 tutorial. ERGO 180 is a powerful tool for the pilot to use, which increases situational awareness, reduces cockpit task saturation, provides a quick, useful solution the pilot can understand in order to choose the best decision for any situation we just covered. ERGO 180 is a work in progress, and expect to see new, improved changes as we continue to grow this app. Please contact us through our website if you have any questions, and thank you for your interest in ADS products.